I think the show just started, Beau.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Okay, that's one strike.
Oh, hey, speaking of swearing, I talked to my mom on the phone the other day. She's like, you know what, I really want to call Chris Long up the other day because I listened to the pod and I'm just so appreciative of him trying to clean up your language.
You had me in the first half, Beau. I thought your mom was mad at me.
Oh, no, you'd know if she was.
Okay. Well, that's good. Shout out to Mama Beau, Mama Allen. Also, we've got, before we get to layup line, do you want to do some housekeeping on what you thought of the David Vobora interview?
Yeah, I got some fucking bones to pick with David calling me out. Prepare better, Beau Allen. Fucking lick my nutsack, DV. Okay, let me prepare to climb a 20,000-foot mountain. How? Kelsey and I went on vacation. We went to Hawaii for 2 weeks before. We were doing some oxygenation kind of thing. You know, we were at sea level down in Hawaii where the air is pure, just fueling our cells up with oxygen. That was our preparation.
Well, no, honestly, David, the more I thought about it, and obviously we're talking about the Kilimanjaro climb, which me, Beau, and David did for Conquering Kili the same year. Beau was 330 on purpose. He wanted to feel like the troops. You know, the troops have those big backpacks, and half the thing we're doing there is like we're engaging our vets, and Beau's actually getting into the exercise, and David is like 230. So what now?
Yeah, exactly. I was rucking all that stuff up there, just trying to feel like an American hero.
Yeah. All right, so we got that out of the way. You didn't appreciate the David Vobora comments, but if I could plug that pod, it was a lot of fun. If you missed it, go back and check it out. Like, you know, I
missed it out of pure spite. I saw that little clip, and I was like, I'm not watching this fucking bullshit. It's gonna make me angry.
So we lost.
With apologies to Beau's mom.
Yeah, seriously, for the first 5 minutes of this pod. Okay. So layup line, you had something stuck in your head and you were singing it like before we got on.
Well, I got this new mic. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's fucking
Beau,
sick. It can bend around.
A warm welcome to 2022. I mean, like you were talking through a hollowed out can of chunky soup. And
it's a glow up. It's a voice glow up. Whatever. We could probably think of a funny pun for that. But anyway, I was just doing a mic check and I was singing some Bradley Cooper, Star Is Born.
You weren't
Shallow.
Singing. I guess you were singing Bradley Cooper because he sang it.
Yeah, he sang it.
It's a duet.
And yeah,
with Lady Gaga.
I was trying to get you to come in as Lady Gaga.
Well, okay, so not going to come in as Lady Gaga, who was born on the same day as me.
Oh, come on. We need that.
Or I was born on the same day as her, to be fair. But I don't want to sing that song, Beau. Quite frankly,
Stephanie
it's fucking depressing. I think about country music, Bradley Cooper offing himself. I don't want to think about that.
Here's the thing that I was saying is like sometimes if having a bad week, I'll just throw on the first half of that movie before shit hits the fan. Because it's great. A Star Is Born. So a star is not dying. It's just the first part.
so you stop it halfway through.
I stop it once it gets a little dark.
How does the movie end? What's the best ending point for that movie? I feel like
always remember us this way. When she sings it about halfway through, that's when I stop.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Kingston knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's pretty
It's a great film.
It's an uplifting movie if you stop right
It's like 50 minutes long. You just get to see, Lady Gaga start off her career. Shit doesn't hit the fan. It's
before
really nice.
she is this before
that brutal.
Is this before she's like all rich and famous and in that big hotel room and the relationship is
it's like right before it's up before that. Yeah, that's like the turn. That's where it gets a little sad.
I'll save my my layup line for so that's Beau's layup line, and I'll save mine.
There's a lot of good songs on that soundtrack though, Chris. Hold on, I'm not quite done yet.
Go ahead.
There's Black Eyes, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. And then the other one that's been stuck in my head that we are kind of duetting a little bit, Kingston. What's that one?
Maybe.
That Arizona sky.
That's always remember us this way. Yep, it's a great one.
Yeah, that's a banger. Yeah, so just throw that on. Good soundtrack.
So the movie was depressing. Objectively,
not if you only watch the first half, though, Chris.
Yeah.
Friend of the program, Lucas Nelson, wrote a majority of that album.
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay, so shout out. I have a quick food review because you were eating grapes. You were talking about and when we played in the NFL, man. You brought up a great point. We used to get like bushels of grapes on the plane ride.
People don't talk about plain grapes enough. Plain grapes fucking hit. Okay, we're doing the no swearing thing. Plain grapes are good.
Yeah, they hit, and sometimes they would hit the people a few rows up in the plane. Like we would dare guys to hit. Like there was a guy named Wayne that used to play for the Jets. He was a tackle. This guy was like The Rock, but like a violent football player. Like like he had a short temper, and he was like a triple OG. And I made nice with the guy as soon as he walked in the building the first day, because he was older than me at this point. But I can remember dudes hitting this guy accidentally with a grape, and people were passing the buck left and right in the back of the plane when he got back there. Like, it was him.
Yeah.
So the grapes were delicious, but they also sometimes got launched into the front of the plane, like as a
nice
sport.
Thing for the uninitiated, those that aren't familiar with plane grapes, they get kind of inflated. Something about the pressure,
air pressure.
The air pressure in the cabin, and they just got that juicy, crispy little pop.
They're
Just
so
explodes
cold
in your mouth, and cold, and then also like really good, really throwable. You feel like you could just David and Goliath someone with one of those.
No question.
Like Wayne.
So we had the grapes. And then we also, we mentioned this on the live stream recently. Nate Collins won a bunch of money on a Spirit flight because he had a $2 bill. Like, I guess on Spirit flights, it's also Spirit Airlines is also a book. Like, they do like gambling on the flights. Like, people put their money in a bag and they pull it out. The only other place that happens on is on NFL flights.
Yeah, but that's with the per diem money.
So everybody would put their per
stuff.
diem money in the bag. And then the flight attendants would call a certain number and that sort of thing. And a rookie would win every now and again. And the oldest guy on the plane would go up and be like, "Nah, we're running it back."
Yep. I remember Malcolm doing that.
Yep. Malcolm did that. One of the rookies won, and Malcolm was like, "Nah." So, little look.
Are we talking about food still? Cause
yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to give you a review before we get this plane off the ground. Halo Top. Okay. You know that ice cream made of like skim milk and shit?
Yeah.
Doesn't get the job done. Like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, there's like 2/3 the sugar, there's like 2/3 the fat,
right.
But I would need to eat 1 1/3 of those to feel satisfied.
Well, here's the thing for me about ice cream is it's got to have some heft to it. So like you grab a Halo Top container and you weigh it versus like a Ben & Jerry's container, you can just feel the difference in your hand. I'm a big candy guy, Chris. Have we talked about that on the podcast?
Halloween's coming up.
Yeah, it is. That's my time to shine, baby.
Well, because you're still young and single. We talked about this. When you're married, Halloween is overrated. Like, when you're not on a college campus.
Yeah, but don't the boys get hyped up about it?
They do get hyped up, but it's over so fast.
You got to feed off that youthful energy, bro.
Yeah, you're right. I'm being selfish.
So here's the thing here. If I could give you a tip. We talked about my mom on the pod. Let's talk about my dad. His birthday's on Halloween. So what he would do, you're learning a lot about the Allen family today. He would take us out trick-or-treating, make sure everyone in the neighborhood knew it was his birthday, and just get beers at the houses. So maybe you should try that one out.
All right. Yeah. We did have a Halloween party 2 years ago, and Dr. Fax won the costume competition because he showed up in one of those like Franciscan monks. Is that correct? The ones with the brown suit, and he had a bag of Funyuns on a necklace, and so he was a chipmunk.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, wow. Dr. Fax with the big
I didn't
win.
take Dr. Fax as a punny guy. That's good.
He's punny. Okay, so my layup line is going to be OD'd in Denver.
But I OD'd in Denver, and I just can't remember her name. I guess you could say that my love life was not up to par.
Hank Williams Jr. It was in my head because the Denver Broncos played last night, and poor Reed's sitting right over there, and I'm just looking at him, and I'm like, this poor fuck is actually a Broncos fan. Like, he really does live and die with this team, and they look hopeless. They look hopeless, dude. I bet them last night, okay? To give you a background on what I had on the line, I had a unit on the under, easy money, and I had a combined unit on a parlay with the Broncos money line and the under, so if they won and the under hit, I was a big winner, and I even smashed the alt line, so like, I smashed Broncos by almost a touchdown, and that paid out like plus 370. So I'm sitting there, and they get the ball in overtime. It's 3rd and 1 on the 43-yard line or whatever it is, and I think I'm going to be a big-ass winner last night, and I became a Broncos fan. I was you for a little bit.
You watched Russell Wilson go out of shotgun on 3rd and 1. and you're like, hot dog.
It was bad, man. It was bad.
It's not great, and it's unfortunate because last night we got another picture of Russell Wilson missing a wide open wide receiver. We'll get into that later, but you were on the team.
We'll do it live. We'll do it right now, dude. It's 4th and 1 in overtime, and he throws to KJ Hamler. At this point, they get the ball in overtime. I think they're going to go score and win the game, and I'm going to be rich, and Reed's going to be happy. And you go 3rd and 1. You just ran the ball for 9 yards on 2 carries, right? Just run the ball. And this is like, I felt like Richard Sherman on the Thursday night set. Just run the damn ball, man. It's not a long yard. It's just a fucking yard. It's a run-of-the-mill 3-foot stretch of artificial turf. Run the ball. Instead, you got KJ Hamler in the middle of the field. You miss him. And sitting there 5 yards away, 5 yards past the sticks, nobody within 20 feet of the motherfucker is the rookie tight end who caught the touchdown early in the game. He doesn't even look at him. I mean, he looks right through him. Actually, the ball whizzes by him to go to KJ Hamler.
Right.
So I don't know what Russ is doing. I also don't know that Russ is physically what he used to be, and he'll never be what he used to be physically.
You're talking about running the ball in the 3rd and 1. I find it curious that they're not using Russell more for like some of these zone read type runs because there's a lot of really good dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL right now that are picking up really good yardage with their legs. Like the easiest comparison to make is Jalen Hurts.
Right.
You're saying you don't know if Russell is physically what he is or what he used to be, and I think that's a really good point. Because he just does not seem as mobile as he was in Seattle at all. And it's really curious to me that they're not using him more on, especially the red zone or some of those short yardage type situations where a quarterback keeper is such a threat.
Yeah, no question.
Let's not overthink this.
No, and he can still run a little bit, but like it showed up a lot in the second half. And where I think Russell isn't what he used to be is, number one, I think his arm's hurting. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he misses some time here. I wouldn't be surprised if they take a look at somebody else if he's like 65% and say, hey, take a quick break here, Russ. Let's give Rippin some time to shine. He doesn't look healthy, number one, from an arm standpoint. I know he went to see a specialist this week, right? On top of that, and this is where he loses a lot of his production, like teams will sit back there and play man, and they're not afraid. Like they're not afraid of turning their back to him in coverage. For people at home, like when you're in man coverage and you're a rusher, you're always told to, hey, like be cognizant of your rush lanes because this guy sees man coverage, DB's backs are turned, he tucks it and runs. The difference between a 3-yard gain and a 30-yard gain is like nothing when you're in man. So people aren't afraid to get in man anymore. And when they blitz him, and they did in the second half, Derwin James and then that linebacker twice, including one of the biggest third downs of the game, they heat him up with that backer. They also heated him up with Derwin James, 3 sacks in the second half. He used to be able to elude a free runner. That was like his thing. He'd get outside the pocket and he'd kill you.
Back shoulder spin out.
Yeah, the back shoulder
spin
spin out.
And then just launch it deep. Like a guy would, an edge rusher would have a really nice rush on the edge and like get on his upfield shoulder, and then he would just magically spin out of it, pat the ball a couple times, and launch it deep. And he just doesn't seem like he's making those mobile type. Actually, he had a really good 3rd and 13 one in the first quarter. You know what I'm talking about? When he was kind of balling in the first, like for that little brief moment in the beginning of the game.
37-yarder to Judy.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're like, okay, this is Russell. Let's ride. Our boy's back. And then it just went to.
But even in that great first half, they had 1 touchdown, and the touchdown is on a busted coverage. I think it was cover 3, and I think it was J.C. Jackson, who actually got benched at half, and we can talk about that. But, that's their only score of that first half. As good as they were playing, they came away with 1 touchdown, and they're terrible in the red zone. We know that.
I think it seems so much different. It seems so much more productive for them for the first half of that game compared to how ugly it got, and then just the game just limped to a finish.
So Jerry Jeudy might be for sale. Melvin Gordon was liking tweets about him.
Wisconsin guy.
Yeah, your guy. So
and after the game, he said, "I was bummed that I was benched. No one told me why. I felt like I could have made an impact on a close game." You had Latavius Murray. His first game for the Broncos, he played really well. And that 3rd and 1 you were talking about, he could have just fallen forward. All he needed to do, he did not have a negative rush all night. He was just falling forward for at least a yard every play. Drew Tranquil was the linebacker you were talking about, who had the sack to basically send the game into overtime. But you were talking about one touchdown in the first half. It should have been 2 on the field goal drive. He had Dulcich wide open over the middle again, which is another picture added to the tweet thread of wide open Broncos receivers that Russ misses. He's 10 yards past the line of scrimmage on third down. Russ isn't even looking at him.
Yep.
Dulcich had maybe 20, 30 yards right in front that he could take off and go, and Russ gets sacked. Ends with a field goal. So 3 points in the first quarter, and we missed that touchdown right before halftime. It was the right couple plays. You probably want that sideline shot to Judy back, but the shot over the middle to Dulcich right at halftime was the right move. It just went through his hand. I like that they're using the rookie tight end from UCLA early. It's his first game after being injured for the first 5 weeks. He looks good.
Guy's got great cabbage, great lettuce.
Goes a long way on the football field, Chris.
It does. And Reed had a whole list of throws that Russ has missed in the Colts game and the Chargers game, of course, last night, and the Texans game. He's missed throws throughout the year in big moments, and he just doesn't look like the old Russ. And again, 33 years old. I don't know that the physical part of it gets better. Certainly, you could trade out the Nathaniel Hackett piece of it at some point. Maybe the mental part of the game gets better for him, but the body's not what it used to be. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, I'm kind of like, I'd love to be a fly on the wall, or maybe it's a viewing party. Aaron Rodgers sitting up there in Green Bay looking at that game last night and saying, that could be me in Denver with that defense, with these weapons. At least at the start of the season when they were healthier, it would have looked a lot better. And I'm up here in Green Bay. I could have been with Nathaniel Hackett. Maybe things would be different. Just interesting thinking about Aaron Rodgers' perspective and how he thought about the Broncos. I wonder if he's surprised by this. So J.C. Jackson, who was benched at the half, who obviously came over from New England, he was a big part of their success defensively last year.
Mr. Interception.
Yep, Mr. Interceptions. Had a bunch of picks, but Bill let him walk. And, my buddy Tom Curran up in New England, who's a writer up there, he wrote a piece when Bill let him walk. And the piece kind of said, and this was a hot take at the time, because really the only evidence for why Bill would let J.C. Jackson walk is the narrative that people leave New England and don't play well afterwards. And, there's usually something wrong if Bill lets you walk. But on paper, other than the fact that maybe he's not a great zone guy, I don't know why it's happening.
I think Bill never wants to overpay guys that are going to be in free agency.
Right.
J.C. Jackson is a little banged up, and I want to give some players the benefit of the doubt there because I think he's got a little bit of an ankle injury that he's working through. But some of the blown coverages and stuff like that, that's when you're a big free agent signing, you need to get that shit right. There's really no excuse. If you're a premier player at that position, you can't go to a new team and have mental errors like that. And I think J.C. Jackson had a big PI early in the first quarter, which was obviously a big negative. But then also blown coverages, you just can't have it.
And
it's not that he's getting. So that goes back to what you're saying about zone. I think those MEs and shit are more for those non-man coverages.
But some guys just aren't great zone guys. Some guys, and vice versa, right? But
yeah.
When Bill let him walk, the history, as Tom Curran pointed out, of when the Patriots have been really good, they've always had a lockdown corner. They've had whether it was Asante Samuel, Darrelle Revis famously. There's a whole list of guys.
Steph Gilmore.
Yeah, Ty Law. So they had all these guys. So, Bill letting him walk is not only ballsy on its face value, but historically, because it kind of flies in the face of what seems valuable up there. And he does it, and he's not only proven right, but Chargers are on the hook for $82.5 million. They just benched a guy last night. A lot can change. You hate starting your career with a team that's going to pay you a boatload of money with an injury. So we're trying to be fair. But, as Tom pointed out, when the Bills and the Pats played last year, they went at JC and they, I think 22 times, 12 completions for 197. And in the playoff loss, he gave up a few catches for about 100 yards. So, there was enough there that Bill was like, hey, listen, maybe there's some things we want to do differently. We don't want to pay the guy. And it's not like he's been great against the team that we have to beat to win this division. The other interesting thing about this is that Bill not only let him walk, but drafted his replacement really effectively in Jack Jones. So double whammy. Not only was right about JC's possible decline next year in a different scheme.
And that one too.
Yeah, but then steals Jack Jones in the fourth.
But yeah, and I guess what you're kind of saying, what I want to mention earlier, but I just fucking forgot, is I think a lot of that has to do with Bill's confidence in his defensive scheme and just ability to coach up somebody to, kind of fill that role, which is what you basically exactly what you just said.
Yep.
He never wants to overpay a big name free agent player like that if, this is the best coach of all time we're talking about. He feels like he can just kind of plug and play guys there.
No question. And you said the Emmys. Here's a couple quotes and we'll move on. But, Bryce Callahan, who's a member of the secondary in L.A., we just started playing the defense we know. Everybody was doing their assignment. No one was getting any Emmys. When you do that, it's hard to drive against us. And that's when he's asked about what changed for them in the second half, presumably. Right. And to me, this as a football player, why your buddy got benched.
Right.
And you're saying it
you don't necessarily want to you don't necessarily want to say it out loud, but you kind of have to,
Yep. Tranquil said guys just did their job, and I think that's what it comes down to. Michael Davis, who had to replace him, it doesn't matter who's out there playing corner. Our defense is capable of doing that no matter what. So,
between the lines on those guys.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're all this guy needs to study, but, the elephant in the room is their MEs. And on the other side of things, that poor guy, Dwayne Mathis, just remember in the first quarter, I don't know if you remember, there's a guy with blue and yellow hair that was volleying for a pass interference call on Drew Mathis. He got 6 seconds of airtime. And I think they listened to him because the rest of the half, they went at this guy nonstop, and it was just flag after flag. It was the same ref calling the same penalty on this poor kid. I want to give out a Mr. Krabs mention because the Mr. Krabs GIF where the
meme where he's just spinning.
The crab is just fucking disoriented. He doesn't know which direction's up. I got to imagine of any sport, any position, when things aren't going well for you, corner's got to be, in today's day and age, the worst one. Because
they're just going to keep going.
There's no escape. It's passing league. You're getting free plays on guys nonstop. They keep coming at you.
And he, that was his first start this season. He now leads the league in PI penalties with 4. And there were plenty of penalties last night. There was
3 holding calls on the fucking rookie guard for the Chargers. Sorry to steal your thunder there, Cowboy.
No, good. 240 combined penalty yards. That was then also 147 combined penalty yards in the first half, most in any first half since week 3 of 2018.
Bad. It's bad.
Not
These
good,
primetime
Bob.
games have just felt sloppy.
They have.
Just kind of boring, but a weird combination of just kind of boring and
that's what gambling's for.
And sloppy.
That's what's that's what gambling's for.
We got to do a teach Beau how to gamble pod because now that I'm not playing anymore, I low key don't really fucking know.
Well, I'll teach you. I'll teach you this week.
Teach me.
Yeah. Now the games are so bad that we're getting kickers have the floor for 5 minutes after the game, dude.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me going on this. Shout out to what's his name, Dustin Hopkins, who had all those. Chris likes to do these little things where he pokes the bear a little bit, and I get a little worked up about stuff. And the dude played really well, and he had a game-winning kick. That's the most brutal post-game interview I've ever seen in my entire life, and I stayed up to watch it, and I got pissed. I got pissed about it.
Well, I mean,
he played well. It was a great moment for him. So let me just put my haterade down for a second, but oh my God, never ever give a specialist.
Buck Nasty Beau. Yeah. Buck Nasty Beau is
never give a kicker, a punter, or I'd rather listen to a long snapper.
Well, the
than
problem
Dustin
is that
Hopkins.
Justin Tucker got the floor last week, and he gives a great, concise interview about kicking. And you're like, yeah, say whatever you want. You're like the fucking Michael Jordan of kicking, sure.
Yeah.
There's a steep ledge after, Justin Tucker when it comes to kickers I want to hear from after the game. I'm not saying
there's no other kickers that I want to hear from ever.
Yeah, got it. Well, it is a sign of the times that we got this guy, and he did thank the man upstairs first and foremost and profusely. So let's track his kicks the rest of the year and see if he gets a helping hand.
He still gets a blessing.
Justin Tucker didn't thank the man upstairs, as far as I know, last week, and then this week he missed a kick.
That just shows me Justin Tucker's confident in his abilities.
Yeah.
Justin Hopkins a little bit surprised.
He's a little surprised.
He's got to thank the Almighty.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah, can I shout somebody out before we move on from this godforsaken game? Baron Browning. This is a Baron Browning Stan podcast now. Last week, I'm watching that Indy Denver game, and the best thing about that game was watching this young Browning kid get off the fucking rock. It's one of those things where I saw him, and I know he's playing inside last year, which is just, I mean, I'm Dr. Phil right now. You know what I mean? Like, you see this guy get off the rock, you see how fucking twitchy he is? That's right where he needs to be, dude. In fact, like, he was making plays against Indy, and I'm looking around like, is nobody else talking about this kid? Like, is this kid not a national name? Like, are there not Baron Browning hipsters out there? His name is his star is about to be big, dude. This guy's got a great get off
and a cool name, Baron Browning.
It's a cool name. Last week he gets in the game. His get off 0.73 seconds. Average get off is his average get off in week 5. It's the third fastest in the NFL, and his 20.6% pressure rate was second in the NFL. He got a sack in the red zone last night. He got a pick. He actually fumbled the pick and recovered his own fumble, which was thank God.
That's just smart. That's just a good way to pad your own stats. That's a vet move.
Yeah, because you read it. Zach Stevens, the Broncos beat writer, tweeted, Baron Browning in this game, 1 sack, 1 interception, 1 fumble, 1 fumble recovery.
Yep.
3 of those things happen on 1 play.
Yep, he had the hat trick.
Yeah.
So this guy, man, he looks like he like no matter what, it looks like he has a jump on the snap. He's just so twitchy. And he looked great last night. He almost sacked Herbert on that last throw that made that a much easier field goal for our boy Hopkins. So Baron Browning Stan podcast here officially.
Can I stand someone else from the Broncos defensive line real quick?
Sure.
So a guy that I think is a really good player is a nose guard, Mike Purcell. And we all know that nose guards don't get nearly enough love. But this is a dude that plays with really, really, really good technique, super square, does a lot of shit right. I want to give him a little bit of a shout out too.
Yeah, let me Google this guy. I'm pretty sure I know what he looks like.
A locker room guy of the week is Matt Henningston, who had his first sack as a rookie, Wisconsin guy, last night, Monday Night Football. Just locker room guy of the week. You know he's going to do everything right. He's working his ass off. Low-key freak athletically. Check out his pre-combine stats. Didn't get a combine invite, I don't think, but had a great showing at Pro Day and had his first sack last night. So
you're not going to get 40 seconds on Mike Henningston anywhere else. That's what
Matt Henningston. Put some fucking respect on his name, Chris. Anyway,
a couple football things real quick. Number one, I listened to the Brady podcast last night on the toilet. The dulcet tones of Tom Brady and Jim Gray. Is that who
you guys are just working some things out together?
Yeah. So I was hooked. I was reading Pro Football Talk, and they said that Brady talked about yelling at his offensive lineman. And I was like, well, fuck, we don't have that much to talk about tomorrow. Let me check this out. Man, that podcast is like 90 seconds of word salad. Like Brady is the king of saying nothing and saying it in 3 minutes, and
feels like state-run media.
That's
in North
his
Korea
job,
or something.
dude. Yeah, exactly. That's his job. And then they do an ad read. This podcast sells so many ads. It's incredible. I want to know what this podcast is raking in from Hertz, dude. Honestly, think about it, because I know what some of the ads we sell are worth. I'm like, damn, people pay for this. Like they really want their product placed here. What do you think an ad on a Tom Brady podcast is selling for? Scott, you got any idea?
Let's get Tom on the pod and ask him.
No. I want to ask Scott. You know,
if we could assume a X amount of downloads, we could get to a number.
Okay. Well, I don't know that they're getting the downloads.
That's the thing. So, I mean, we could blow up some numbers here.
But Hertz is probably giving. It's a 7-figure deal.
I bet a lot of these deals for that particular show are built into other brand deals. Would be my assumption, because there are. If you're just going straight CPM for ads, they're just chock full of ads.
Yeah.
From what you were saying, there's a lot of ads in there, so they're playing the volume game.
It's so interesting to me, and the funniest one is like Hertz got this ad roll, and they're like, Hertz, let's go, and then they come out of the ad, and Jim Gray's like, well, it's been hard for you guys to go.
That's good.
Yeah. And then Brady says fuck, and they bleep it out. It's a bizarre experience, dude. You got to check this podcast out.
Brady's allowed to swear on the pod?
Yeah. And I had to go to bed before Kevin Durant came out. I bet that got better at that point. But like asking Brady about football right now, he's just not going to give you much. So
just ask him about his divorce instead.
Okay, Beau. Fucking asshole. All right. So
2 single guys in Tampa, you know? We'll go out there on some Tinder dates together.
No question. Is there a way to link Tinder accounts to do like a double date feature, like 2 guys that want to like Bluetooth link that? Honestly, Tinder, you could print money with this one.
That could be a sponsorship opportunity.
Think about that. I mean, like two single guys. They don't want to. Not that they're dating anybody.
Instead of swiping on your O-line, swipe right. Swipe right on your next date.
Hard cut, Tinder. Well, so honestly, though, think about it. You don't feel like doing the awkward one-on-one dinner. You need a wingman, and double dates are better, man. Like maybe you want a double date on Tinder. There's got to be a way.
You should download Tinder and see if it's on there, Chris.
Oh my God, bro! If Meg saw Tinder on my phone and I tried to explain her what, like she would just
it's for the pod. We're just trying to get Beau laid.
I'd be dead. I'd be dead. She would kill me, and I wouldn't blame her. Okay, so the Chiefs, man, they restructured Kelsey, converting base salary into signing bonus. They clear. What is it? He's taking up 3.45 in cap space now?
Yep.
So they have the space to do something, which is it's ominous, man, for the football world. I feel like that news today like sent shivers down people's spines. Think about it.
Something linking that to OBJ, you know.
Well, Odell, but I think Odell ends up in Buffalo. I don't know. I just have a hunch. And then I think there's Christian McCaffrey, which I would get. Like somebody said the Eagles should trade for Christian McCaffrey. I don't know. It feels much more worth it for like Mahomes to pair with McCaffrey. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're 6-1. You don't need to add another thing to the equation. You're doing all right.
Well, it also depends. Well,
6-0.
I do think they could add another weapon. You know, like whether it's DJ Moore, like somebody to get people out of man coverage, because people are playing a lot more man against them this year than they have in the past because no Tyreek Hill. Not that necessarily any of these guys are going to have the effect that Tyreek would have. I also think that there's a chance they're looking at the fucking edge rusher, dude. We talked about this. Like they've got Karlaftis, they've got Dunlap, they definitely have Frank Clark, right? Is there anybody I'm forgetting? I mean, like Melvin Ingram left, after last year. They made a play for him last year, and that helped them down the stretch having a veteran rusher. We've mentioned Robert Quinn. You know, we've got Brian Burns putting a bunch of cryptic messages on his Instagram. He's got like a picture of a ram, then he's got like footage of Jimmy Garoppolo on his story today. So I don't know, maybe it's an edge rusher. It's going to be interesting, man. Like that was an interesting tweet that I saw this morning that Kelsey restructured because something big's coming.
Man dog of the week, the Jets versus the Packers, because Chris, you know this, like we watch games a little bit differently as defensive linemen. Trying to break out of the habit of watching tape as a fucking nose guard because, I just focus on the offensive, defensive lines every time. But I did catch this Jets-Packers game, and I thought the Jets D-line was really, really good. So I want to go back and watch it more and kind of break that down a little bit. And I know you talked about it on the Monday podcast a little bit, but honestly, watching it, the Jets' defensive line, their scheme reminds me a lot of, what we ran in 2016, 2017 in Philly, where they're just attacking, getting upfield. They're really getting off the ball, and they're also really deep. So a lot of their rushes actually came out of like these 5-down looks. So you know how teams get an overload to try to influence the slide?
Yeah.
And they would walk Mosley up on the backside guard. And they did a really good job early in the game of setting this up. It's big on big, right? So the 5 offensive linemen are responsible for the 4 defensive linemen that are down, and then the guard will have the middle linebacker that's walked up over him. And sometimes they would include the linebacker in some of the games and pick stunts, which would, kind of confuse the
second level pick is like, it's like a game, like say a TE, but with a second level player. So the penetrator is coming from off ball, and that really adds a different element.
Yeah. And they do a really, really good job with these games. Like you can tell their full unit rushes are really good. So like what they were doing is they run a lot of ETs. That's how Rankins got his sack. So the end would penetrate, and then as a zero tech, he'd like set it up for a couple steps and loop around him. And he got Aaron Rodgers on one of those. That was really nice. But then they did a really good job of running these. I mean, it's been called a bunch of different things, but I think is most called like a Ned stunt, where the 1 technique or the 0 will penetrate, and then the 3 technique to the side that he's going to will loop around him.
Yep.
They did a really good job on that, and it was kind of a broken rush, but Quinn had a really good sack, a really athletic sack.
In the A-gap.
Yeah, like he split the A-gap and then sacked Aaron Rodgers, who's a mobile quarterback, on like the outside of it.
He gets skinny well, dude, for a big guy. That was the play I was thinking of, where he just got skinny, man.
And then to finish that sack is really, really hard because Rodgers is escaping to his throwing arm. But basically, like they had a really good third down plan where they would, get him into these 5-0 protections. Sometimes blitz the linebacker. Sometimes the linebacker would have the running back like mugged up or like in man coverage, but the guard wouldn't know that, like, because like for a second or two he'd be like worried about him because he has him, thinking about he's rushing. They ran a lot of really natural looking ET games too. This kid 47 who's Bryce Huff, who's a young player. Like they have some deep rushers that are well. Another kid that had a lot of nice rushes, 97, is Nate Shepard.
Yeah.
Who's like really twitchy, had like a really nice double arm swipe. They have a deep unit that gets off the ball really well. They also did a really good job in the run game. Like the Packers were like trying to run the ball, but they kind of couldn't, and the game got away from them a little bit with some special teams errors and stuff like that, and then they had to throw it, and they were just teeing off on them, killing them with these really good games. Like, and the thing is like when I was watching this, I don't think the Packers O-line is really that bad. They don't necessarily have to be super good because like super sticky for a long time, because Aaron Rodgers is pretty mobile and he does a really good job of like getting rid of the ball. But like, and they tried, like the Packers tried to move the pocket. They tried to do some RPO stuff. They got a little bit of the screen game going, but like, honestly, man, I was really impressed with the rushes from the Jets. Like Rankins was murdered the right guard, who's like, I think it's Royce Newman.
On the play that Quinnen Williams hit Rodgers low outside the pocket, I think Rankins could have caught a charge for what he did to that guy.
He bull rushed him, flushed him out of the pocket. That was a great play by Aaron Rodgers. And Quinnen, like, he's athletic out,
very athletic.
Like, out in space, man. It's very impressive.
Very athletic.
But anyway, that was a really fun one to go back and watch. Like, I think as far as defensive line units go, like that's got to be one of the deepest units.
And Vinny Curry's your vet, by the way. Like Vinny Curry's like your D-line vet. Is it? So do you want the Jets to pick you up off the street? Is that what you just did?
Yeah,
this segment?
They really need a just like an early down grinder.
They do.
There.
They do.
That's the only.
Yeah.
One other thing I thought was funny from that game is John Runyon, who's the left guard. He got fined
by his dad,
by his pops, which I thought was great. Like, imagine after a tough loss, you kind of get the shit beat out of you.
Yeah.
And then you show up to your locker on Wednesday and you You have FedEx in there from your old man. Like, what do you just take a screenshot of it and
That's
just
pretty good.
send the middle finger to your dad? Like,
That's pretty good. I
great.
think you pay up. I don't think an appeal's coming.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Retweet or reply
Yeah.
is where we're on next. Yesterday, we saw that Chase Claypool had a little fun in the locker room. The tweet was, Chase, how does it feel to get a win like that? That was a question from the pool of reporters. Chase said, it feels awesome. Gunner, come here real quick. He gave me a celebratory dip. It's my first time ever. I can't really with all these lights, but it feels good. Chase Claypool got his first dip. Are we retweeting or replying this?
I'm quote tweeting that. And I know Gunner a little bit from my time in New England. He's a great guy, but probably Cope Straight? What was it?
It was Cope Straight. Yeah, it was Cope.
Cope Straight is a tough first dip. I'll never forget the first time I had some Grizz Green around a bonfire in Minnesota. I was probably in like 8th grade. And I fucking threw up just right in the fire. So like Cope Straight dip after like an emotional game where you're already kind of like buzzing a little bit that's a strong play.
So we're sending him a stronger play. We're sending him a care package of a bunch of like, honestly, I think the ATF's going to be on us because there's a T in there. And we sent Dan Campbell, Cope.
No, send him some Zins, bro.
No, we're not sending him Zins.
He's not ready for the Cope Straight.
No, I'm going to send him the heaviest hitter. I'm going to get this guy so addicted to nicotine. It's going to be incredible how addicted he is.
Sending him
Kodiak Wintergreen. If you look up the nicotine delivery statistics, the next gen stats, on lippers, Kodiak is like the king of the mountain, dude. Like so we need to get Chase Claypool some dip, some real dip. That Coke,
just a nicotine gambling pod.
Pretty much. That's my life after 11 p.m. Every night. Okay.
Retweet or reply. TMZ tweeted, Robert Kraft proves you're never too old to find love because he tied the knot Friday in a star-studded surprise wedding. Ed Sheeran and Elton John both performed. There were some. It was a big. Randy Moss was at the wedding. Tom Brady made an appearance at the wedding. Are you retweeting or replying to weddings in the fall, especially this one surrounding a NFL owner?
I'm replying. Weddings in the fall, first of all, that's a selfish move, number one. Why would you have a wedding in the fall? Secondly, and then I'm replying again, must be nice to miss 2 weeks in training camp and then a Friday and Saturday practice / walkthrough.
I'd much rather have to go to a wedding in the fall.
That's a subtweet, by the way.
Okay. I'd much rather have to go to a wedding in the fall. Hear me out. In the summer, that's like my happiest time. Like, my weekends are sacred. I want to be on the river. I want to be dicking around. I don't want to be at some wedding sweating through a suit. Okay, that's one.
That's a you problem. Well, you can wear some summer linens. Ooh,
linens are great, but say I'm the groom a lot. Beau, I know you can't relate, but I'm the I'm the groom a lot, and they always have you in these fucking heavy suits. And you're up there sweating, and you're standing up there, right? Don't lock your knees, but you're up there standing there, and you're sweating your balls off. Another thing is, it's great having surprise weddings because weddings just make people assholes, man. Like the presence of a wedding, an incoming wedding, turns everybody into this fucking crazy person. So I think I'm actually pro fall wedding. I'm pro surprise wedding. I'm pro Friday night wedding because you can spend Saturday on the couch, hungover,
Friday
watching
night
football.
Wedding is good.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And there's no lead up to it. Friday night weddings are good because you can't put a bunch of shit before it. I got work. I would make up some work stuff so hard and show up right before the wedding.
But these days, a wedding is like, okay, here's a standard wedding like itinerary, okay? The wedding's usually on a Saturday. There's usually a welcome party on Friday. Then Saturday's the wedding, the rehearsal. That's all night. And then nowadays there's like a brunch, like farewell.
So we don't need to do all that.
We don't need
to do all that. You get a gift
wedding,
bag.
Boom, Friday.
You get a gift bag on the way in on Friday. You get it done. Don't even tell me it's a wedding. Why am I getting a bag? We're just happy you're here at the dinner. Surprise.
Retweet or reply from Sunday night. There was a video as the Eagles are running out onto the field. A fan got into the quote-unquote tunnel and ran out with the players. He's with the players. He's getting all hype. He runs out. He even gets a couple low fives from Jason Kelsey and others. Then he gets escorted off. Are you retweeting or replying this behavior?
I am honestly going to quote tweet it. Because for me, somebody asked me, what would I have done in a situation like this? Probably nothing. I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
There's so many people down on the field. I would have been like, oh, it must be one of the troops or something.
Must be a Make-A-Wish kid.
They're doing a thing, right? Like, I'm running next to the motherfucker. It's like a bird flying next to an airplane. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? Well, there's enough airplanes flying around now that like it's not as shocking anymore. And to me, like, it would not be shocking to see somebody running out of the tunnel.
Exactly. During a game, there's just shit that happens, and you're just like, oh, okay, And you don't even realize till after in the locker room, everyone's like, oh, you didn't know that guy? I would have loved to have heard like what Kelsey has.
Yeah, he looks like the cheerleader. He's like if we had a midnight yell, he's the Phillies midnight yell guy. He's Phillies midnight yell guy. It's just a drunk guy that finds his way down. He's lucky as hell because there's no way you should be able to get down there. And then to like blend in and run out and not get trampled by Jordan Mailata. Like just absolutely trampled.
Yeah, like fucking Lion King.
Yeah, dude. People die on Black Friday. Like, in a Best Buy parking lot. What do you think Jordan Mailata is going to do to you?
That's pretty good situational awareness from that guy, honestly. He's like Mark Wahlberg with the tryout for
and look at Dom.
Invincible.
Look at Dom. Dom's in the video too. Big Dom made an appearance. I love
that's the one to trample somebody right there.
Yeah, Big Dom coming through, bro. Hey, Dom, at one point they're gonna do a compilation of all these iconic Eagles videos and highlight Dom in all of them. He's in every shot of anything important going on in Philly, dude, with the birds, and he's an absolute legend. Shout out to Dom.
Truly a legend.
Yeah.
Retweet or reply. At Joel91 tweeted Sunday night, top 5 NFL head coaches current to do bottle service with. Chris's list in order: Mike Tomlin, Dan Campbell, Arthur Smith, Lovie Smith, and Mike Vrabel. We're going to change this one around. What are your top 5 NFL head coaches current that you don't want to do bottle service with?
All right. I don't want to do bottle service with Cliff Kingsbury because I feel like he's just going to get one vodka cran and just sit there and look cool,
Yeah, he would.
Like beckoning at some of the girls on the dance floor.
Yep.
Maybe like he probably got some fucking sunglasses on in the club.
Yep.
Also, like, go ahead, Chris.
I don't want to do bottle service with Brandon Staley. Way too intense. He's gonna want, way too intense. Can I add one thing while you're thinking of the next one you don't want to do bottle service with? I can't believe I didn't think about this. I want to do bottle service with Matt Rule, dude. Matt Rule's not a current coach technically, but he's still on the payroll. This fucking guy, you know how many sparklers are gonna be like? There's gonna be bottles of Ace of Spades all night. He's making $40 million to sit on the couch. This guy's partying his ass off. I'd love to do bottle service with.
Yeah, he's like, hey, don't worry about this, Chris. I got this one.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. He's got oil money now.
I actually wouldn't want to do it with Vrabel because I feel like that'd just be a drink off. That's just shot for shot with Vrabes for a night, and then next thing you know, we're getting denied at the bar again, Chris. Can't get in.
The thing that pushed him down to 5 on my list is he's essentially like there's a chaotic good and a chaotic evil. Like chaotic good is Dan Campbell at the club. Like
evil's Vrabes.
And Vrabes is the guy that like I'm gonna end up in a fight because I'm fighting for with my boy. Like I'm gonna be if Vrabes is at my table, Vrabes is my guy, and Vrabes is definitely gonna fight somebody. I just feel like
trying to like push their way into the section, and Vrabes just power bombs.
He's from the Rust Belt. He's from out of the furnace land.
I don't want to do it with
from Youngstown or something, dude. He wants to fight. He wants to fuck people up.
I mean, I don't think Zach Taylor would be fun to do bottle service with either. Just kind of look out of place. Like he'd probably be wearing like khakis.
Oh, how did I not? Robert Saleh would be so fun.
Yeah, exactly. You missed that
Robert Saleh would be awesome, dude. I want to get drunk with Robert Saleh.
Staying in the NFL, but flipping over to owners. One stat that NFL owners will hear at today's NFL fall meetings, the average margin of victory this season is 8.9 points, on pace to shatter the Super Bowl era record of 10.2. The only other year that this has been below 10 was 1932 when the Bears opened with 3 straight scoreless ties and won the title. This is from Tom Pelissero. Is this a retweet or reply?
Quote tweet. And this is a lot like when somebody gets COVID and they're like, oh, I lost a bunch of weight. Looking good, right? I'm down 20 pounds. How'd you lose it? Not the right way. Like, the reason this stat is the way it is, games are closer, is because there's not as many blowouts, because not as many teams are fucking scoring. There's one Buffalo Bills 38-3 game here. There's a weird Jets-Dolphins blowout. But teams aren't scoring. Scoring's down, and that's really what matters. So the NFL is trying to tell you, like, everything's fine, man. But it's not, because scoring's down, okay? Like, no one's sitting around the TV on Thursday night, as you can tell, being like, man, what a cool overtime game that was. The Broncos just keep playing in these awesome, tight games. Did you see how close that Indy-Denver game was? Like, nah. Did you see how crazy that – because – legitimately a wild finish to Commanders Bears. Nobody fucking cares. The team scored 19 points essentially.
Thank God it's over.
Yeah, so it's that, like, the NFL is being like everything's fine when really it's not fine, dude. Like, we're gonna be in the chow line no matter what, but we will enjoy it much more if teams are scoring more, and if that means a bigger margin of victory, like, no big deal. I think this is a quote tweet for me.
Yeah, so for me, I don't think I've talked about this much on the pod, but there are some really, really good new emojis out there that I've been just digging into. So I say that because I am replying to this tweet with a simple upside-down smiley face.
Retweet or reply. This is from Box Score Kenny. Lamau, the Falcons are making the playoffs with the Falcons' remaining schedule. The Falcons are currently 3-3. They have the Bengals, Panthers, Chargers, Panthers again, Bears, Commanders, Steelers, a Week 14 bye, then Saints, Ravens, Cardinals, Bucks.
You just gonna power through reading LMAO out loud?
Yeah. LMAO.
Lamau.
He's one of the worst. He's a French dictator. The thinking man's joke.
Lamau.
Yeah, that's one of the Ball brothers. Only he ruled a country in Lamau. Reed, that's good, dude. I'm never saying LMAO again. It's Lamau.
Lamau.
Do people do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd always do that.
He always does that?
I breezed right through it for a reason.
That's good. Okay.
Bro, I'm raffle Lamauing right now.
Rafflecopter.
What the fuck were we even talking about?
Oh, we're talking about the Falcons.
The Falcons making the playoffs.
And
they should be 5-1 right now.
Let me tell you, and I'm kissing my under win total on them goodbye. The other ones are going pretty well, including the Bucks. But yeah, they got the Bengals. They're going to play Carolina. I figure that's a win. They play them twice. They play the Bears. They play the Commies. They play the Steelers. Yeah, how
play the
deep
Panthers
is the NFC?
twice.
How many wins is it going to take this year? 10? 8, 9?
Yeah, in that
10 order?
max.
10 max.
9 is the most likely, but it could be 8.
Okay, they have how many wins right now? I should know
3.
this. 3.
They're 3-3. They should be 5-1.
Okay, I see 7. I see 8. I see 8 wins. The swing game is going to be: can you beat can you beat the Bucks right at home?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be interesting. Week 18, hopefully.
And just to be so, your wins are Carolina twice, the Bears, the Commanders.
Yeah, and these never go the way you think they are. But like you kind of you try to pick as many easy ones as possible, and then figure you're going to be just under, and they'll win one game you don't expect them to win. So, yeah,
the Steelers. That's a toss up. They're
going to be
the way the Bengals are playing, especially right now. They could give the Bengals a run.
The Falcons are fucking kind of like, I don't know, Arthur Smith, man, survived 3 coaches in Tennessee. Like, this guy's got to be a future legend of some sort. I mean, he did a great job with that offense. Obviously, he had Derrick Henry and everything. And we were like, oh, we'll see down there in Atlanta. And they are maximizing their talent. And, it's just crazy to me that the guy has been this good. It's early.
But they have a good shot. And the NFC South sure isn't, the gauntlet we thought it might be.
No, sir.
Retweet or reply. There's a report out that the NFL and Amazon announced that in 2023, Prime Video will exclusively stream a Black Friday game, the Friday after Thanksgiving. This is the first ever NFL Black Friday game. It's going to take place November 24th with an expected kickoff of 3 p.m. Teams are TBD. That's from Ian Rappaport. Are we retweeting or replying a Black Friday game?
I'm retweeting it. I love that. That's a full weekend of football, right? Because you got 2 Thursday night games and a Black Friday game. It's also kind of good for America. Get people out of Walmart on Black Friday.
No, as much as we can numb the population, let's do it.
Exactly.
So more football.
That's good for Prime is what I'm saying. That's a smart move by Bezos.
So
get them out of the Black Friday
nailed
stores.
it. So this guy, Brett Coleman, said right under there, under Rap Sheet's tweet, this is actually brilliant marketing. Amazon wants everyone to stay home during their biggest day of competition with brick and mortars so that inevitably they fall into the, quote, well, I'll just get it on Amazon instead trap. I'm already there. I have social anxiety. So
genius.
But it is,
that's 40 chess
coming to an indoor stadium near you. Here's the thing, Beau. I fucking hate Thanksgiving football played inside. If they make me watch more indoor football on a week where we should be watching people with grass stains on their fucking jerseys out there, while you got the turkey on the Traeger. I don't want to be watching a bunch of indoor football. Just don't do that to me. That's all I ask. NFL.
Black Friday outdoor game.
Yeah.
Mandated.
Yep.
I like that.
Retweet or reply. Josiah Johnson tweeted, "What's your wildest NBA prediction for the upcoming season? It starts tonight, your last night."
I got to go to the resident expert. Maybe Beau has something Bucks related.
I don't know shit about basketball.
But Kingston, tell me what are the storylines this year? Because I legitimately have no idea.
I'll give you a few quick predictions.
Yeah.
Westbrook traded to the Indiana Pacers before Thanksgiving for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. I think Luka finally has his MVP breakout season. Victor Wembanyama, even though he's not in the league, is going to be a household name. My mom emailed me an article about him from the New York Times.
Oh, so he's probably arrived. Have you heard of this French basketball player, Matt?
Exactly. Zion.
Lamau?
Zion's going to have a huge comeback season. Pelicans will be the highest scoring team in the league. Nuggets, best season-long record. Jalen Green's going to average 25 points per game, but have the worst efficiency in the league. And the Wolves will look beautiful in the regular season, but will fail in the playoffs because their roster is flawed. Oh, and the thing that I'm really looking for is what's happening up in Golden State. They have the potential dynasty, but there's some chemistry issues there, so we'll see if this is Draymond's last season.
Kyrie Irving launches a podcast on OAN Network.
Retweet or reply. There was a video that went viral the last couple days of a mountain climber shooting up a nice little rock chute that looked like a blast to climb. And then he looks to his left, and a massive, looks like black bear just comes charging off a cliff, dives at him, misses, and then they kind of go into a scuffle. This guy's swinging and kicking this bear. This bear comes back at him 3 or 4 times. Are we retweeting this and being like, oh my God? Or are we replying like you shouldn't be on the mountain? What are we doing?
No, I'm retweeting. I watched that video a bunch, man. That scared me. That like awoke.
Scared you?
Dude, that scared me, man. Listen to it with the audio
It's like
on.
somebody let their dog off the leash, bro.
No,
Black
dude,
bears
I'm
have
telling you.
no bodies,
that-
bro.
Boo, 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 boo. Horrible take, Chris.
Really?
That thing would maul your ass.
That-
I got
bro,
into
the
it
fucking-
with Carl about this.
the-
Dude,
the
a black bear will eat your face.
The marathon runner who's standing on top of the rock, you probably wears Tevas when he gets home.
Dude,
just fucking
that awakened a primal fear within me that I didn't even know I had. Imagine you're climbing out of nowhere, a black bear just comes ready
I'm
to fucking
throwing that
eat
fucking
you.
bear. It's gonna hit every rock on the way down that mountain. I'm gonna shot put it. Off
I mean,
the
the
mountain.
guy kicked the bear in the face pretty good.
The only thing that
He's looking like Hopkins out there.
because we think, oh, black bears around here, not a problem. But that's because you see them off your back porch. You got your house behind you. You can run back inside. This is his habitat. He knows exactly where this guy
And he
is.
couldn't even win
He
with home
surprise
field
attacks him.
advantage, dude. He couldn't.
No, he had the high ground.
couldn't
Nah,
even,
bro.
He couldn't even win with home field advantage. This is I'm retweeting if I touch it at all. I'm retweeting just as a public service announcement that black bears have no bodies. They're weak.
Bad base.
Literally, this is home field. It is homecoming weekend. He's got some skinny ass guy on top of a mountain, and he's got the surprise, and it doesn't work.
You got to watch Star Wars, man. The high ground. It's an advantage.
I don't need to watch Star Wars.
That's
just watch
what
a
I'm
Rams
getting
game
from
and
that.
I pan to the crowd. There's always somebody fighting in that motherfucker, and the lesson you always learn in watching these fights in stadiums is high ground. But the bear had everything else going for it, and it couldn't win.
It's over, black bear. I have the high ground.
That hiker did give the bear a good kick in the face. I'm sure the
Right in the face.
bear he wobbled off for a reason.
Listen to the audio. That guy screams.
Yeah, that guy
I haven't
is-
heard someone that scared in a while.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, then why don't you? If that guy jumps off a bridge, are you gonna jump off a bridge too, Beau?
If it'll keep me safe from bears, maybe.
He's scared, so I'd be scared.
Watch the video, Chris.
I already
It's
watched
horrifying.
that. It's on the monitor here. Fucking
Imagine that's how you go, mauled to death by a bear,
I would
and
much rather- I
you
would-
have video. The fact that he kept the video going the whole time too.
the only thing I would be maybe other than dead is embarrassed because that bear is soft. Everything about that bear is soft. Now, if you want to kill me with a grizzly bear, that sounds a lot cooler to me than dying of like emphysema or something later in life. Like go out like Leo in The Revenant. That's cool, but not a black bear, dude. That'd be embarrassing. I would tell my wife every time I go hiking now. There's gonna be a policy. If I die by black bear, you make something up. It wasn't a bear. You make I don't care if it's like overdose or whatever, but it can't
be black bear.
Nope,
WFAA tweets.
not going out like that.
The ghost at this supposedly haunted North Texas house reportedly likes to talk dirty. They're sexual, the owner says. There's no other way to put it. So this couple in Texas, they bought a bunch of houses on a block.
Yeah.
They to rent them out. They've had 10 tenants in 2 years at this place because these people finally they were like, "Yo, that place is haunted." The owners didn't believe them. This one woman went in. She was taking a shower. And then a voice said, looking good. And then she thought it was her husband. She poked her head out. No one was there. Her husband walked in like a minute later, was like, "Who are you talking to?" And she was like, "That wasn't you?" Apparently, they've also heard around the house, oh, baby, yeah." And yeah, I like it like that. Are we retweeting or replying horny ghosts?
I'm quote tweeting that, this sounds like an untapped sex tourism market.
Yeah. People who aren't getting laid just go down there and.
Oh, there's some freaks out there, Chris. Someone would pay to.
No, so here's my
have a ghost.
Here's what I'm
talk dirty to him.
If we can figure out if this is relatively real, like if this it's not. Matt?
Just
Okay,
don't
but
know.
No, I think it's real.
if it's real,
there's like a homeless man in the walls.
if there's legitimately a haunted a horny haunted house, if there's legitimately a horny haunted house,
Yes.
the loser of the fantasy team is going there. Seriously, for a night, for a weekend. They got to go. We'll pay the people to leave. We'll get them we'll send them to the Ritz-Carlton for the weekend. The loser of the fantasy football league has to go and spend 2 nights in that motherfucker. Possibly get plowed by a ghost.
It'll be like
It's not cheating.
it'll be like Jonah Hill and This Is the End.
What if next year dudes are tanking to go back to the haunted house? The ghost has got some good pussy.
Apparently, there's a well in the living room that is just open, and people think it's a portal to another world, a spiritual portal. It's a 19-foot well.
Ghostbusters do this?
What kind of place is this?
This is in Texas, man.
Sure this isn't like a meth lab?
Could be. Could
All
be people messing around with some substances down there.
Some ayahuasca? No, honestly, what we need to do is, I'm telling you, this is it. We've been looking for a fantasy punishment. And hey, I'm 2 and whatever. I'm 2 and 4. It could be me. I really don't want to do this.
The owner does now rent the house
family.
out to exclusively to people who want to investigate if it's ghosts or not.
It's fake.
But no.
It's got to be fake.
No way. This is real. The room with the well is the murder room.
That's why you don't want to die a virgin. That's the kind of ghost you become.
A horny virgin. A horny 200-year-old virgin.
Yeah, dude. You just roam the streets.
And what sucks is probably because you're hanging out in one of these houses.
Yeah.
And there's a couple that has to get down and dirty,
and you
see. Yeah, you see what you missed out on.
A FOMO,
You're just like, damn.
FOMO situation.
If I'm a horny
Too
ghost,
early.
I'm not going to Texas, though. Give me to Vegas or like New Orleans or something,
So that was retweet a reply. We're going to introduce something a little fun. This is called Beau Moi.
Beau Moi.
Du Moi, the celebrity gossip site. So we're introducing our newest celebrity gossip columnist, reporter, Beau, for Beau Moi. Beau, what is happening in the celebrity world?
Okay, I thought you'd never ask, Reed. Lots of fun drama. I've been a little bored without football this season, so I've been digging into some of these celebrity gossip columns.
You know what might be a good way to kick this off? Ask me something about celebrities in
What do you
general.
know about Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde,
Okay, I know this
and
one.
Jason Sudeikis?
Harry Styles is a real problem. He's he's not a great locker room guy, right?
Not a good locker room guy.
And he's hooking up with the coach. And one of the
Cuck of the
players
week.
used to be married to the coach, and it's like a big deal, dude. And he might have spit. I know that part. But like in general, I don't know a lot about celebrities. So just like
Okay.
I didn't know who Zenyatta
Chris.
was.
You still don't
Zendaya.
because you don't know her name.
Zenyatta?
Zendata.
Well, Zenyatta's an Overwatch character, actually.
Yeah.
Chris.
I don't know what that. I mean,
but anyway, we're talking about celebrities here. But yeah, that's actually a pretty good breakdown of Harry Styles. But there was recently an article. I can't remember what it was on. Probably page 6 or something. But a nanny from Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde, she's like their nanny, claims a lot of fun drama. Basically,
Formerly
Olivia
the
Wilde.
nanny.
Yeah, she made her special salad for Harry Styles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Jason Sudeikis was so, butthurt about that he threw himself down in front of her car, didn't want her to leave. Apparently he was crying a lot. He got her served papers at a Comic-Con convention. So it's been some really fun drama to follow along with.
The question here is what is in her salad? What is in her salad that makes Jason Sudeikis lie down in front of a car and Harry Styles go wild?
I hope it's not like raisins, dude. If there are raisins, isn't that like some people put raisins in salad?
Definitely.
Or is it potato salad?
Some people do put raisins in salad, Chris.
Don't put raisins in salad.
I want to know what Olivia Wilde's sexy salad is.
It's red wine vinegar, Dijon mustard, honey, salt, garlic, and olive oil.
So then another fun one I was reading about was Emily Ratajkowski, recently single.
Yeah.
Just, I'm single as well, Emrata. She was linked to Brad Pitt. However, and people were going wild over Emrata and Brad Pitt because that's a little bit of a power couple. People loved that, but she was spotted with another mystery man, so we're trying to figure out who that might be. Rumor says that he's about 6'3", 285 pounds, with long blonde hair and a really nice mustache.
I was like, that was kind of big.
You heard it here,
Yeah.
Dumois.
No, evidently
Dumois.
it's a DJ.
Beau, if you got to star in a movie with Emrata, what would it be? What would the premise be? Would it be, you're a football player, you want to be like in a Western?
Ooh, I'd be in a Western with her. I think a rom-com would be fun.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, just a Beauty and the Beast live
Modernized.
action, but it's just us matching on like Raya and Tinder.
No. Beau with soup all over him, just walking around the house. Hot supermodel, just like tolerating him. Fucking Beau reaching into the salad with his hand. Beau just bombing, like shitting with the door open. Beauty and the Beast.
No.
Beauty and the Beast too.
I'm red. I would never. But there's some script writer reading this. Like, yeah, we got this. This is a lock.
She's walking the runway. Beau's like, "You're doing great, honey." Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.